Sarah. Thanks so much, guys. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Nets postgame show with Devin Harris. I'm Nancy Newman. Wow, the Nets brought an 11-game win streak into tonight. They promptly stretched it to 12 in a row versus this overmatched Spurs team, and it was about efficiency. It was about creativity. Absolutely everything was falling for the Nets.
It was about starting off the game the right way. And how do they do that? Kyrie Irving said, you know what, I'm not going to wait. I'm going to take it from the top. And when you got a guy that starts the game that hot, it fluctuates throughout the whole team. You know, defensively they were locked in. They stayed to their principles, and they made it an easy win.
Perfect segue. We're going to dig into a couple of key players, and we're starting with Kyrie Irving. He's been great since he came back, but tonight he was sensational.
Yeah, I mean, such a rhythm. Right here, he gets the steal and turns this guy around only like he can with the left-hand finish. And once you get your nice start off like that, you're in rhythm. He gets a flare screen here from Seth, knocks down the three. You know, now he's in his bag. Now, you know, step up for the left-hand layup. And you know, all night long, he had the Spurs at his mercy. And when you're feeling good and you're in rhythm, you make plays like this.
Wow. The bench. Love that.
Dunk to inspire. Everybody's standing up for this one.
Can't get enough of that. That's just too much. And there was more, right?
Yeah,
Devin,
I mean,
like you said, he didn't stop there.
He didn't stop here. Right here, you know, not many guys at his height can post up right now. Like I said, he was in his bag, travel bag, duffel bag, shoe bag. Step into a rhythm three right here. Only missing 4 shots tonight. I mean, when you don't wait and you go aggressively and you're in a rhythm, you know, you put a team, you know, like a Spurs at your mercy. And
at 29.3 points per game, he has averaged over this 12-game win streak. He really has been showing the way. He's been so locked in, and we talked on the pregame about the fact that KD's your starter, Kyrie's your closer. Tonight it was Kyrie that was the starter. He was on fire.
Yeah, but they
6 of 6 in that opening frame, 15 points.
They can switch at any point in time.
That's true.
They're not locked into that position. That's just the way the season's been going. But at any point in time, Kyrie can go off. At any point in time, Kevin can go off. You know, tonight was just Kyrie in the first quarter, and Kevin was glad to say, "Hey, I could use the rest. You know, you go ahead and do your thing."
And like you said, Batman, well, Batman number 2 or 1, whichever way you look at it, 1-1A, it's Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't have a bad game too shabby. I mean, he's going to get to his spots. You see the and-1 right here. The steal, a little kick ahead for Claxton for the slam. Yeah, a great all-around game for Kevin. Obviously didn't need to do a lot tonight, but still got to his spots and does what Kevin does. You know, and during this win streak, he's been spectacular as well. He, too, averaging 29.7 points per game over these last 12 games. Yeah, but he just makes it look so easy. You know, he gets to the point, you know, all these are and-1 shots he's strong enough to make over defenders. But when you're at 7 feet and you can shoot fadeaways and get to your spots, there's nothing they can do about it tonight. And we were shooting 60% from the field. And he's not a big guy. These aren't all ducks. These are 3s, 2s. I mean, it's amazing to see how efficient he can be. 25-plus points in 8 games, and mind you, last game versus Charlotte and tonight, he didn't have to play in that fourth quarter. That's huge. That is huge. You know, he's been carrying a heavy load minute-wise, especially during this run when Kai was out. You don't want to run him down going to the playoffs, so when you can have more wins like these where he can rest in the fourth quarter, 2 games in a row, it's going to do dividends for the late part of the season. Okay, now we're going to put an exclamation point on one of your storylines, which was start fast, and they did. First quarter, the miss by Keldon Johnson, and it's Nick Claxton picking it up, and the Nets are off in transition. Yeah, they want to play a lot faster, and, you know, their defense getting stops allows them to do that. We saw that right there. Spurs with the ball here. Stolen. Thievery. Kyrie Irving the other way. When he can attack in space, there's not many people that can stop him. Talk about just rolling. I love the phrase we've been using, rolling in the deep, because this is it. Yeah, and all starts with the defensive end of the floor, you know, creating turnovers and playing in space. Nets up 10 at that point. Wow, tonight's victory moves Brooklyn just 2 steps away from matching the longest winning streak in franchise history. We've mentioned before that Jacques Vaughn was a player on the 2005-06 team that won 14 straight,
tying the record that was established just a couple of years earlier. Now Vaughn has a chance to lead this year's club to that mark and perhaps beyond. We cannot overstate the impact that Jacques Vaughn has on leading this team. And what a great quote by Greg Popovich. He said he's just such a stabilizing force. He's confident. He knows how to set the tone.
And he was like that as a player, and it's continuing to his coaching career. And he's done a great job of allowing this team to just focus on the next thing, which is the next game. And they take that approach, and that's how you get putting a winning streak together. It's not you thinking ahead like, oh, we can beat this team. We're going to take the Spurs tonight. We're going to handle business. We've done that. Now who's next?
And it's his New Year's resolution as well, staying in the moment. Time for our first break on the post-game show. Stay right there. When we come back, we will hear what Coach Vaughn has to say about tonight's win. Then we will have reaction from a few of his players on their successful return to Barclays Center. A quick stopover before they hit the road again. Plus, we'll take a look ahead to their next matchup, a visit to the Bulls Wednesday in the first of 3 straight away from home. Another big win. Stay with us. We are back with the final stats from the Nets and the Spurs. This was one of Brooklyn's best nights of the season in terms of shooting from the field in general and three-point range. They also had a fantastic night with their perimeter defense, holding San Antonio under 26% from beyond the arc. And Devin, what stood out most to you from these final stats?
I was looking at the stat sheet, 18 points for Warren, which anytime, off the bench, you want to keep him in rhythm. Seth Curry was 16. So sometimes when you get in these games and you get open shots, you can kind of get right. So hopefully he can start shooting the ball a little bit better. And you said defensively, 13 steals, 7 blocks. That's getting it done on the defensive side of the floor, which allow when you play in transition, would open up the floor for Kyrie, which opens up the floor for Kevin Durant. So this team is doing it on the offensive end, but they've been hanging their hat on the defense.
5th wire-to-wire win and back-to-back to boot. The Nets' win streak is 12. They've won 16 of 17 and 19 of 22. They start the new year in victory. Let's hear from head coach Jacques Vaughn.
Jacques, during pregame, you talked about the approach. It seemed as if the guys had that defensive intensity that helped fuel this win. What did you like about just the mindset they came out with?
Yeah, it's been great seeing that first group really set the tone, and we didn't skip a beat. Royce was a late scratch for us, and Seth comes in and slides right in. Is what we've been talking about as a group. No excuses. When your time presents itself, you play extremely hard in that time, and another great challenge by our group to start the year off the right way.
I got to ask you what your reaction. I haven't seen the replay of what you did after the Kyrie dunk, but can you give us a glimpse of what you saw?
Yeah, probably a big smile on my face. We actually just replayed it right there to the group. We talked about celebrating each other, and for him to have a dunk and our guys to appreciate it and enjoy it and really cheer him on is pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Jacques, Ben has helped you guys in a lot of areas. 3 steals tonight, 9 assists in the first, whatever that was, 15 minutes or so. I mean, how much have you talked to him about the free throws and lack thereof, obviously, since November? And is it even really concerning you because of all the other ways in which he's helped you lately?
Yeah, I really haven't spoke to him about it. I don't see that it's an issue, really, Alex, to kind of address. The free throws haven't presented himself. I think he's still driven the ball to the rim, and he's had some rim attacks. But overall, we just want him to play. And if the game presents itself that he's going to get fouled, then that's part of the game. If he's defending for us and getting steals and pushing the pace and rebounding the basketball, which I thought he did, great box outs tonight, then that's all part of basketball. But if the free throws present themselves, then we have no problem him shooting them, but I haven't addressed anything with him free throw-wise.
Jacques, the cameras caught you and Greg Popovich sharing a moment after the game. Given everything we spoke about pregame, just wondering what that moment meant to you.
It's always special, tough to coach against them, just because the respect that I have for him. It's tough words. I mean, I love him. He has meant the world to me, still does. I know how important he is to so many people around the league. Families have been changed. My family's been changed because of him. And my kids are able to grow up differently because of him. And I'll never forget that. He is a unbelievably caring person. You don't get to see that side of him all the time in the media. The hug is genuine. The words are genuine. So a really, really special person in my life, yeah.
And kind of looking forward, you guys have Chicago, and then you have a couple teams that are in that race trying to position themselves to compete for playoffs. Just what does that look like? Is there a switch that you guys turn when the competition stiffens, or is it just more so focusing on what you guys can do every day?
Yeah, hopefully we're going to be a group. Christian, doesn't matter, you know, what the situation is, whether it's the end of the year versus Charlotte, the beginning of the year versus San Antonio, whether it's at home versus Milwaukee, whether it's on the road versus Cleveland. We show up and we play. And whoever's going to play, we hoop out. And so that's the message. That's who we want to be as a team, whether it's on TV nationally, whether it is not. And so who's next? The next challenge on our schedule, Chicago. That's who we'll prepare for. That's who we'll be ready to hoop against.
Jacques, safe to say the two sick guys, Royce and Markieff, traveling with you guys?
Yeah, hopefully just a little bug that's, you know, going around a little bit. But the plan is, unless something crazy happens overnight, they should be traveling with us, yes.
Bob said pregame he wasn't a fan of your beard. Did he say anything to you tonight about it?
I'll leave that. I'll leave that. He's seen me close shave for a lot of years.
Jack, you got a little brief stopover here at home. It's almost like another game on the part of the road trip, and schedule stays road heavy for the next couple of weeks. You know, what do you tell the guys about just kind of staying mentally tough and heading back out there?
Yeah, really take it as a challenge. We got a chance to sleep at home, which was nice, and I kept my suitcase out so that I can just, you know, wash this thing tonight and put it back in there. But it felt good to be home, take advantage of that, and now let's take the challenge of playing 3 on the road. We are, I think, excited about playing on the road and what that next challenge is. And I think we'll be ready to play Chicago and move on from there. Thanks, Jimmy. Okay, guys. All right, Happy New Year. Okay.
You know, Devin, I don't know how you can't enjoy listening to him. We show up, we play. On to Chicago. How inspiring is this?
It's inspiring, and he's just keeping things simple. He's simplifying everything for the guys, and that allows them to just concentrate on the game. And when you got a coach with this as infectious as he is, and the energy that he brings on a daily basis, it comes and trickles down to the other guys, and they're enjoying competing, and they can't wait for the next one.
How odd is it to just have a one-game stop at home and right back on the road?
Oh, it's not that odd. It's
okay.
Sometimes, you know, how the schedule falls in itself, but, you know, you got to play the games that they lay in front of you. And I think, you know, the challenge that they have is, you know, on to the next one. And this is a team, it doesn't matter if they're on the road or if they're at home. They've been playing extremely well either place.
And what about the beard? Time for another break on the post-game show. We saw some plays earlier, and when we return, we'll have full highlights from tonight's win over San Antonio, a perfect way for Brooklyn to open up 2023. Game show, a 139-103 victory, a commanding victory over the Spurs to stretch the win streak to 12. We're going to dig into the highlights, and this was fun. From the jump, first quarter, the miss by Keldon Johnson, and it's Nick Claxton.
Off
the
to
way.
the races. No three, but big man is running the floor. That's his job. That's who he is.
Hands up. Next, Nets with the ball, Ben Simmons. The nice one-handed pass. He's facilitating. KD.
And the ability to make the shot with this contact, impressive.
Three-point play. Midway through the quarter, Simmons connecting with Irving. He sinks the long ball.
There
Nets
goes
up
that
13.
man. There goes that man.
Later still, Spurs turn it over. KD, Joe Harris getting into it.
It's good to see him back. Another three-point shooter.
Big-time lead already. On to the second quarter. Ben Simmons, Yuta Watanabe.
Not just a shooter.
Don't give me just threes. I can do it all. Moments later, more Watanabe. This shot is no good, though. Then, oh, my. Hold on. I can watch that 10 times over.
Impressive.
Just on a
Impressive
loop.
stuff.
Ben Simmons, the feed is to Seth Curry. He was feeling it, too. Good to see that. Nets up by 23. Later in the quarter, Nick Claxton. The pass is to KD.
Another and one right here through contact. Once this man gets to a spot going left, he's dangerous.
64-42 after the free throw. Third quarter, KD kicking it over to Irving from long range, 79-56. And again, Batman and Batman, Durant.
Pull up.
88-64. Seconds left in the quarter. Turnover. And it's KD. The feed to Harris.
You know, when they lock in
pretty.
defensively like this and they can play in transition, they're practically unbeatable.
108-79 they were tonight. On to the fourth, and again, KD and Kyrie did not have to see action in that final frame. Patty Mills.
He's getting into the mix. I want my turn.
He was tough to defend, wasn't he? Nets in control. Blocked by TJ. Edmund Sumner picking it up. Nice. Nets win going away, wire to wire, 139-103. The game summary is brought to you by Infinity. Along with being their 12th consecutive win, Brooklyn also gets its 6th head-to-head meeting with San Antonio in a row, wins it. Keldon Johnson was the high scorer for the Spurs, but Durant, Irving, and the Nets just too much. Time for another break on the postgame show. Stay right there. We've got more reaction coming up. We'll take you inside the locker room on tonight's victory. We are back on the post-game show with our Kia keys to the game. Tonight's victory over San Antonio. The third wire-to-wire win for Brooklyn during its 12-game winning streak. They've won 4 games by at least 15 points, but they've also pulled out some close ones, too. Like we've been saying, they have been doing it any number of ways.
Yeah, they're finding different ways to win games. Tonight, it was one of those, hey, we're going to take care of business from the start to the finish. You know, they're winning close games, but putting all this together in different pots, like, so they can understand, okay, we've been in a situation before, we have experience, we can win it this way, we can win it this way. But tonight, they say, you know, hands off, we're going to rest in the fourth quarter, and we're just going to make this a blowout.
Jacques Vaughn was asked in his post-game session about Ben Simmons, and he's not really worried about the free throws and whether or not they present themselves. If they do, they do. If not, they just want him to play, and play he has.
Yeah, you know, he's playing to his strength, which is getting other people involved right here, taking the big man off the dribble. He's going to have this matchup on a night basis, especially if they're playing small. Right here, orchestrating the offense. Nice backdoor pass to Kevin Durant for the and one. Setting the screen right here as a roll setter. And a lot of things that don't show up in the box score he's doing for this team right now. Another screen to get Seth off. And when he can play to his strengths and get people involved, you know, free throws aren't going to necessarily matter, but when he can get 9 assists, 6 rebounds, 3 steals, he's impacting the game in many different ways.
Right, 3 steals, 6 assists, 6 rebounds rather, 9 assists, 24 minutes. Here's Ben.
Hey, Ben. You guys got off to such a fast start. You know, Kyrie was scoring. You had like 9 assists in the blink of an eye. Just what do you see kind of clicking offensively early for you guys?
I think we read the defense well, and we kind of see, you know, how they're playing us, depending on what schemes they're throwing at us. We've seen, you know, a numerous amount of different coverages, especially, you know, for Kai and Kev. And so tonight we saw a big man in a drop. And for me, I love that. You know, Seth's getting off. You know, Kyrie's doing his thing, Kev's doing his thing. Just felt easy.
What was your, I guess, vantage point when Kyrie had that putback dunk?
I think I was at the top of the paint. It felt like 2K, honestly. I didn't even know he could do that.
I mean, what does that say, though, about a guy who feels like not too long ago we were talking about rebounding, and for that to be how he gets his rebound today was...
Yeah, I think we know what it takes to win, and I think everyone's just trying to contribute in whatever way they can. And rebounding for us is huge. Rebounding and defense are the two things that we take pride in, or want to take pride in.
Let me cut you off. Ben, at the beginning of the season, you were coming off your layoff. Kyrie was in and out a little bit. I mean, just during this 12-game stretch or so where, all you guys have been available, most of the supporting cast, et cetera, just what have you been able to kind of learn now that you're in a groove and whatnot of how to play off those guys and how the kind of you, Kevin, and Kyrie all kind of fit alongside each other along with the other guys that maybe you couldn't?
Yeah, for me, being in that point forward position, I have so many options every time down the floor, whether it's transition, guys coming off handoffs, picks, slips, whatever it is, back doors. There's so many different options for me to where the game feels easy, and I try to go out there and just help my teammates get the best shots they can and try to do that at a high level.
It certainly does seem like you guys are having fun out there. Do you feel like there's been a shift in team chemistry in the last couple weeks?
Yeah, I think we've always kind of wanted to have that chemistry. I think, obviously, it takes time. It's a new kind of team, new coach. So we're just enjoying it. We're trying to win, add these games up, and have fun.
Hey Ben, against the Spurs and sort of pit stop here before another road trip, this could have been a trap game where you might not have come out with full energy. Why wasn't this a trap game?
We can't have trap games. We know. I think it's just being aware of what a trap game is for us. We know coming into a game like this, these guys are young, they're athletic, they're hungry, and they want to compete. So for us, we got to step it up, stay focused, throughout the whole game, and focus on us. I don't think it's really about who we're playing. I think it's about us as a team and what we're trying to do.
You've said the word easy a couple times tonight. Are you surprised how often you guys are making it seem easy, or is it just this capable?
Not surprised, just glad it's coming together. We have a long way to go still, but there's moments where we read the game well. Guys are trying to figure out how to play it with each other, and I think it's coming together. But obviously, we got a long way to go still.
Devin, he's engaged, he's active, he's confident physically and mentally. What are you noticing from him?
Well, coming off the injury and a year off, it's going to take him time to get into a good headspace. They found that. He's found ways to contribute. If you look at the way this team is constructed, they have two full-blown scorers in Kyrie and Kevin, and they have a guy that doesn't necessarily need the ball, can construct the offense. And I'm trying to think of another team that does that. Oh, wait, Golden State, right? With Draymond Green. So similar type of construction of the team, and it's been proven that it can work at a high level, and we're kind of seeing that right now.
Great point. Simmons and the Nets will try to make...
I mean, one thing about this team, though, they are deep, and it's a team that's made the playoffs without him. So I think if it's a short-term injury, this team can definitely carry the load until he gets back. But he makes this team a different team when he's out there, so you just hope that it's not too long for an injury.
Right. Back to our game, a 12th straight win for the Nets, 139-103 over the Spurs. Joe Harris, first game back after missing 8 points for him in about 16 minutes. Here he is with Megan.
Joe, how would you describe just the mindset and the mentality that you guys came out with that allowed you guys to be so successful?
I think just from the start, we came out with just an intensity, a focus. Everybody was locked in, executed the game plan well. I think it's sort of a repetitive theme, but whenever our defense is in sync and we're doing well that end, flying around, limiting second chance opportunities, we're a pretty tough team to beat.
And when you have the defense flowing like it is, then it affects the offense. And you see guys get going, the ball movement is there. How does that feel you all?
I mean, that's the best basketball right there. And I think that's a big thing with us is, wins and losses aside, you're just trying to play good basketball.
And Kyrie, the dunk. I know Jock told us that you guys replayed it after the game and you guys celebrated it. What was that moment like, and what was your reaction to seeing it?
I mean, I was like everybody else. I thought it was incredible. But that was sort of just the energy that everybody was playing with, and he really ignited a lot of that. Obviously, he had some amazing shots there before even the dunk, but that dunk just kind of set everything over the top.
And it's your first game back after missing 4 games with the left knee soreness. How do you feel, and how good was it to be back out there on the court?
Yeah, it's great just to be back. Obviously, I missed just being around the guys. I wish I could have traveled. But yeah, healthy, feeling good, and I was just glad to be back around everybody.
Time for one more break on the post-game show. Stay with us. We've still got more to come before we wrap up our coverage of tonight's 139-103 victory. Reaction from Kyrie is on the way.
Just nasty.
The Nets post-game show on Yes is brought to you in part by the New York Lottery. Get out there and play.
Here are your leading scorers on the night. Again, a 139-103 victory for the Nets, their 12th in a row. Kyrie Irving, your high man. Here he is with Megan and the media.
Hey, Kai. Obviously, you got quite a reaction for that dunk. Just curious how you saw that play develop.
Man, I'm like this close to getting tired to people downplaying my athleticism at times in that locker room. I'm like this close. But on a serious note, I'm glad I could have those type of plays, at times to galvanize the group. I'm glad it went in. Good timing, Glad I've been working on my body for the last year and a half, 2 years, especially recovering from that, traumatic ankle injury that I had during the 2021 playoffs. I just felt like, didn't have my feet underneath me into last season. So coming into the season, I've definitely put an emphasis on just being more on my toes and being stronger at my foundational base, if you wanted to know the scientific aspect of that.
Kyrie, going off that, you have the dunk. Nick and Dayron kind of don't know what to do with each other. Then you motioned toward the bench and said something. Was that along the lines with what you said of the crap you've taken from them on it? You remember what you specifically said to your teammates on that?
I guess you could say that. Yeah, a little bit of stare down, a little bit of a surprise from those guys. It's funny making the young guys happy and smile like that when you surprise them a little bit. So it feels good.
And then just during this 12-game win streak, you guys had some attrition earlier in the season. Ben was coming back. You've had. During this 12-game win streak, you guys have had most of the whole core together, whereas early in the season, Ben was coming back, et cetera. Just what have you guys been able to learn, I guess, especially, you, Kevin, and Ben, how you guys play off each other, and especially with Ben being the new guy of the three, that maybe you weren't able to learn early in the season because of all the other stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it's always great when you have a healthy team. We know we have that group in the locker room. When we're building continuity game to game, it has carryover, and we're showing that consistency right now on both ends of the floor. But I think one of the special traits of our group is the way we give each other space. When we want to go ISO, and then when we know we need a bucket to extend the lead or get back in the game, I think we're all locked in. Obviously Royce not playing tonight. Other guys had to fill in, but that's been the tell sign of our greatness of our team this year, is just being able to plug guys in, be wonderful with their minutes, be impactful, be intentional, and then we live with the results after that. I haven't seen it yet. What do you end up with? 10 away from 81. So. You said what? He also broke your franchise. Good. Records are meant to be broken. I'm happy that he did it. What's funny about it is, I don't know if I tell Donna I shouted him out, but I was on Call of Duty a little bit before the game with Don. And we were playing quads, and he was locked in, I could tell. He was locked in, I could tell. So we were locked into the Call of Duty game, but I had to get off early because I had to take a nap, and he had to get off early to take a nap. And you could just tell he was locked in. We had a brief conversation, and you could just tell, little things like that. Did you guys win? No, I actually lagged out. I actually lagged out. My Wi-Fi was very trash, so I had to get off and get to my nap.
So no dunk contest?
No dunk contest, man. Stop. Come on, man.
Just for the record, what do you make of the streak right now? I think it's 12 in a row, and however many, 16 out of 17. What's been clicking more than anything for you?
Just staying present game to game and giving the game what it needs every day in terms of our preparation. Little things, going and get our lifts in, days off, everybody showing up. Little things like hanging out and just doing things for our camaraderie and our group. It goes a long way. So we're building trust on and off the floor, and it feels good. I don't think we really pay attention too much to the streak. We just really want to play well for one another. And you could tell there's a special energy in the locker room, so we just want to take care of that. And God, please just keep us healthy throughout the rest of the season.
Kind of to that camaraderie point, Jacques was talking pregame about what went into winning at a high level when he was playing with the Spurs, and he said guys enjoying being around each other, the camaraderie part. Where is that this year with this team?
Man, it's in a great place because obviously we can go outside and hang out. And then on the road, I think we all have an understanding of what our lives are like when we're home. So when we're on the road, a lot of us have kids, or we got things that we use to stay comfortable, especially getting in those four walls in the hotel room. It could get a little lonely. So we do everything we can to make sure we communicate. That's most important. And just have some fun playing the game that we love. Obviously, it could go either way in terms of people feeling a certain type of way about minutes, but we have a mature group in there emotionally, and the purpose is bigger than each one of us individually. So it feels good when you can have that selflessness in the locker room, and it just looks good on the court.
Our producer, Josh Isaac, and a few of us were wondering if you played Call of Duty before the game today?
No, I didn't play before the game today, but I'll probably play when I get back home.
Okay. But seriously, no dunk contest for Kyrie either.
No, I don't think, he can give us a big of an entertainment. But tonight, we'll see that play over and over and over again.
What was your biggest takeaway from what he had to say?
Just the team just being locked in. They continue to, like Joe said before, it becomes, you get tired of hearing it, but the steadiness of what they're doing is working. But, the camaraderie that they're building off the floor is showing on the floor, and they can continue with this thing moving.
So much fun to watch. So since Kyrie and the Nets have now won 12 in a row, they would set a franchise record for consecutive wins if they can sweep their upcoming road trip. We mentioned earlier that they will visit the Bulls on Wednesday. They will follow that game with a trip to the Pelicans on Friday, and the trip ends Sunday in Miami. So a couple of good tests coming up, particularly New Orleans, and then when they return home, it's Boston. So those two games I'm looking at.
Yeah, these are all winnable games, but anytime you play teams that are you're jockeying for position, it's going to up the level of play. And we've seen what this team can do when they get tested. So it'd be a good test to see if they're continuing to be locked in. And I'm curious to see where this team's going to go.
Me too. On to Chicago. That's all for the postgame show. Once again, our final score from Barclays Center. Nets 139, Spurs 103. Brooklyn starts 2023 by winning its 12th consecutive game. Remember, Wednesday's coverage begins at 7:30 p.m. on Yes and the Yes app. Now for Devin and all of us at Yes, Happy New Year. I'm Nancy Newman. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.